Croke Park, such a fiery foundry for the never-ending songs and stories that have filled the hearts of so many Irish people for over a century, once more flings its doors open in welcome this weekend. Leinster Rugby returned for the first time in 15 years to the skyscraping cathedral by the Royal Canal. To say their Champions Cup semi-final date against Northampton Saints this Saturday is hotly anticipated would be a wild understatement. Public tickets were snapped up in less time than it takes to listen to the entire new Taylor Swift album. They call it Leinstertainment. And so 82,300 will cram the Northside Citadel to see if another collection of boys in blue can complete a drive for five and parade preeminence beyond all others in their sport. GAA fans will join them too. As much as Gaels feel their territory is being eroded again, more unites these two codes than divides them. After all, Michael Cusack was a fairly decent forward in Blackrock College before he decided to formalise the GAA. 140 years later, Joe McCarthy from the same school will stride into a venue that serves to symbolise the magnificence of not only our national games, but our identity as an inclusive and welcoming people. This venue has hosted Celtic squabbles that have divided families too. Leinster versus Munster houses an archive of feral folktales to rival Dublin versus Kerry. One of the greatest of them all was staged here in 2009, a cacophonous, colourful riot that served up revenge for Leinster, Ryan O'Driscoll streaking to the line late on, 3 years after losing to them in Lansdowne Road. Sexton roaring at O'Gara in the birth of a personal rivalry too. Come on, you boys in blue, they sang. O'Driscoll's side would claim their first European title in this momentous Irish rugby year that witnessed its first Grand Slam since 1948. Two of these games took place here against France and England as Declan Kidney's men created sporting history. 2 years earlier, a team led by Eddie O'Sullivan had partaken in social history as rugby first took place in Croke Park following the abolition of Rule 42, which had once forbidden all foreign games. France were the visitors. Sport doesn't script fairy tale though, and the grim reaper of Irish rugby at that time, Vincent Clerc, sucked the occasion dry of all its fervour with a zigzagging late try. And then England. Who can forget the tears of John Hayes, or those yawning moments that seemed like hours as we waited for the thunderous applause that greeted the playing of God Save the Queen? Or Shane Horgan's scoring like the young GA player he once was in Meath to collect to Ronan O'Gara Garryowen. His try arrived in the same corner of Croke Park, very near to where Tipperary's Michael Hogan had been killed on Bloody Sunday 1920. History and hysteria rhyming, elation once again for a nation now so mature. It wasn't all so rosy. A stadium that had once enjoyed Riverdance witnessed its first haka, but another familiar defeat against the All Blacks when Ireland could really hope to ever beat them. Even some of the wins were ugly. A bruising battle against Argentina in 2008 that featured almost as much brutality as once inflicted by Muhammad Ali in the same stadium decades earlier. There was even a power cut on and off the field against Italy. Floodlights for the first time in a rugby game against Scotland. A foggy but due success against South Africa. The last game held there was a defeat to Scotland, costing Ireland a triple crown in 2010. Irish rugby has moved on from then, when Leinster beat Munster in that 2009 epic in front of a then world record crowd. They had yet to win a European crown. Now they own 4 of them, backboned by successive Irish Six Nations champions. In many respects then, Saturday marks another case of history repeating.